Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. We recently went to Dubrovnik, which is one of the most iconic cities in the world. We walked the famous walls and got lost in the narrow alleyways of Old Town.
So Dubrovnik was not originally on our travel bucket list when we first started traveling. But as we spoke to people, along the way and asked them what was their favorite place they'd ever been to, a lot of people mentioned Croatia. So we thought, okay, we have to add it to our bucket list, right? So what we're going to do today is show you what we did in Dubrovnik and show you why we think you should add it to your bucket list too.
Yes.
So let's go.
We're Tanya and Martin. We travel the world going to all the places we've always dreamed of visiting.
We hope our adventures will inspire yours.
So for our 5-day stay in Dubrovnik, we wanted to stay right in the heart of Old Town. So we did find this nice hotel on Expedia called Hotel Villa Sigurata, and it cost around $105 per night. The host was there during the mornings and afternoons, but she was available 24 hours a day if needed. On our way there we got lost because of the GPS wasn't working so well with all of the narrow alleyways, and so she was kind enough to come out of the hotel and meet us.
So the next morning we got up early and our host recommended a great place for breakfast with a beautiful terrace. So we decided we would go there. So this place was located right outside of the old city gate. It's called Dubravka 1836 Cafe, and it just overlooks the Adriatic Sea, overlooks part of the old wall, overlooks one of the old forts. It was just gorgeous, gorgeous. So after breakfast, we went and picked up a 3-day Dubrovnik pass, which we felt was really worth it. It covers the entrance to walk the wall and a few other attractions. So we recommend that you walk the wall early in the morning because there's no shade. It's just, most of the parts are just completely open, and it does get hot pretty early in the morning. Also, it's less crowded, and you definitely don't want to get stuck behind a group from one of the cruise ships.
So there's no bathrooms on the city walls, so you want to make sure that you go before you climb up there. There are public restrooms near Pile Gate, which is the main entrance. It's about 1.2 miles around the walls, so you need to be prepared for a workout.
Yeah, there are a lot of stairs and they're very steep. We actually bumped into 2 friends who, one of them had to stay behind. She just couldn't do it. And quite frankly, I got a bit of vertigo going up some of those stairs. There's very low walls on either side of you. So that was a bit of a challenge for me.
There are several exits along the way though, so if you do run out of steam, there's always a way out. The views from top are incredible, with fantastic sea views and all of the red rooftops. You can even see into people's backyards and check out their laundry.
Laundry? What about the beautiful fruit trees and the beautiful vegetable gardens and, the grandparents running after their grandchildren in the yards? They were just beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous gardens.
Yeah, well, there's that to it as well.
So the next day, we just walked the streets and all the little tiny alleys, and it was so much fun. It was literally like walking through a maze. It really was actually like a maze. You'd walk down a corridor, and you think you'd come to a dead end, and you'd go up there, and then you could make a right or a left, and you just keep going. So there were lots of little shops all over, restaurants. Um, Sometimes you'd come up to an open square, and there'd be a cathedral there. It was really, really quite amazing just how much was actually in there. And for those Game of Thrones fans, I'm sure that if you're there, you'll recognize some of the streets that have been in the show. We also stopped at this little, again, walking these alleyways, and we just come across this tiny little shop right against the wall. And it had a sign for espresso and some cake. So we thought, well, sure, why not? Let's go in. So we went in, and it was just this sweet little tiny shop. They sold all kinds of herbs and teas, and we sat there having our espresso and carob chocolate cake, and
I think we sat there for about an hour
yeah,
talking to them and learning about their business. They only take January off, and the rest of the year their business is open, and they work all through 7 days a week.
and they do also sell herbs and things like that down at the market square, and their son handles that part of it. But it was just so nice to be able to talk to them and kind of get a sense more of what it's like just to live there. Um, and it was great. They were working the whole time, but they were also very engaged in conversation. It was just a very nice time spent with two locals there.
There are loads of places to eat there. I mean, there are restaurants just all over. It would be kind of difficult to pick out which ones you wanted to go to, but fortunately the host had provided us with a list of 5 restaurants that we should try, and I think we tried all of them.
We did. Yeah. Which was your favorite?
I liked the Arsenal restaurant, which is down by the old port, but we didn't go there in the evening because it was very expensive in the evening, although the dining did look quite elegant with the white tablecloths and candles. So anyway, we just went there in the morning for breakfast, but we still got beautiful views of the old port, and this really old ship coming in, like ancient ship coming in, which was a kind of a tour ship.
Yeah.
We also went to a restaurant called Kopun, which was a traditional Croatian restaurant. And after that meal, we had Turkish coffee, which was one of their specialties.
And then we also ate at this great seafood place called called Trattoria Carmen. And if we hadn't been told where this place was, we wouldn't even have probably noticed it. But fantastic food, fantastic service. We just loved it. The food was so delicious. There was a line going down the way. And
Well, fortunately, we got there before that line started to
yeah,
form.
that's true. We only had to wait about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was just so nice. And at the end, Martin likes to sometimes have an aperitif. So he asked for a sambuca, and they didn't have that. But she goes, just wait a minute. I'll be right back. She goes in and comes out with a liqueur that's Croatian, and she says, "Try this. This is my favorite." And it was very tasty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of kind of almond flavored.
It was almond. Yeah, kind of almond flavored.
Yeah.
No, it was pretty good.
But it was just, it's one of those nice things when you actually have someone who's the proprietor of a business, and they take that extra bit of care. And it was just one of the things that made that restaurant special.
We also stopped at Boozer Bar, which is a really famous hill cliff bar. It's sort of built right into the hill cliff just outside the walls of Dubrovnik. We keep walking down these stairs. It's kind of multi-layered. and you have people like diving off the cliffs, and just seats which overlook the ocean. We didn't actually get a seat there. It's always very busy. We went during a time which we thought was going to be quieter, but it was busy the whole time. So just kind of getting a seat there is definitely a bit of a task. But if you can get one and sit there with a beer, it's just an iconic thing to do.
Mm-hmm. You know, what we loved so much about Dubrovnik was this feeling of stepping back in time. You know, walking all those little alleys, those little lanes, and just the surprise of finding these homes and people just going about their day-to-day lives. Even though we were there amongst thousands of tourists, we still got a little bit of a taste of what it's like to be in Croatia. We were walking on limestone pavers that were so worn out. They were so smooth, and you tell they had just never been replaced after thousands of years. And just seeing locals going about their day-to-day, lives, and just being part of that, and talking to locals, and finding out a little bit about their background. It just kind of really brought it to life for us.
So if you've been to Dubrovnik, let us know down in the comments, and let us know. We're curious as to whether you stayed inside the city walls or on the outskirts. So please like and subscribe, and until next time,
We'll see you in the next video.